I'm really old-fashioned. I'm an old-fashioned choreographer, yeah. I don't... I use improvisation because when I'm working with dancers and with actors, because I think improvisation makes better performers. I think performers, when they're doing something that they've learned, they're better at doing that if they've done completely free improvisation. They kind of, there's a certain, for me anyway, there's a certain glow about them, or there's a certain energy inside people who improvise, because improvising is quite, you know, some people find it quite frightening, and it's like, oh, improvise about it. It's just like, you know, particularly when you're just improvising with no structure, and so that is kind of, so people who do that, there's this kind of energy and there's something about them. So then when you, and also when you give them something to learn and that is set, then for them it's easy, because, oh right, I know what I'm doing now, but still there's kind of that energy of improvisation inside them. So it's just, yeah, so yeah, so I use improvisation in that way, but I don't use improvisation in the actual work or to generate material, because I'm, yeah, because I see myself as a choreographer, and a choreographer for me is somebody who goes somewhere and puts movement or asks people to do this movement. Can you do that? Okay, you do that. I mean, and I change it if they say, oh, can I do that instead of that? And I say yes or no, or can you do it? So I'm adapting, I'm working with their bodies and how they are. But yeah, because I want to see what it's the same as a director. I mean, directors in theatres, they read the script, whatever it is, they read the thing and think, oh, I want it to be like this, and I want this character to be like this, and the costume designer says you should wear this, and then you come. So the theatre directors don't, if they're working on like Ibsen or Chekhov or Shakespeare or something, they might say, okay, improvise this scene, but you've still got to say these words. You've got to say these words because people say these words, and you know. So whereas choreographers, people who work with movement, they might say, can you improvise on this kind of movement for a while? Okay, right, and I'll just put some music on, and then the dancers improvise, and then the choreographer says, okay, yes, I like that bit. You know the bit when you did that, and then you did a sort of duet with him, and then you came and go, can you repeat that? Can you remember that? And the dancers usually, who are brilliant, remember it, and they do it. And then they say, okay, remember that, that'll be one section. Now can you come on and do the same thing, but do it without the partner, so it's the partner's there, and then kind of reverse it, and then I'll put the music, and then the piece is created. And then you go to see the piece, and in the programme it says, choreographed by... And I think, no, you know, the number of times that I've met dancers who have said, well, he didn't choreograph it, we did. We made the movement, we did the movement, and he just arranged it, or she just arranged it. So really a lot of choreographers, I think they're arranging movement. They're not actually, this isn't all choreographers, but some choreographers, they're just arranging certain things, you know, they're not actually doing the movement in front of the dancers, and the dancers copy them, and then that develops from there. So, and I think it should say in the program, if that's the process that it's been through, it should say in the program, choreographed by blah blah blah, and the company, and the dancers, and the, you know. So, because I think the dancers should get the credit. I think dancers don't get a lot of credit. I think they deserve much more credit for what they do. Yeah. Music is, it's not important, it's absolutely essential. I could not live, I would die if I couldn't make music, listen to music. It's just like, and music's been in my life all the time. My mother used to sing, my father played the drums, and my sister used to sing, and it's just like, so it's there all the time. And now I listen to lots and lots of music and different kinds of music, and I grew up with lots of different kinds of music. Not so much from my parents, my family, but I'd just go out to a record shop and I'd buy a record just because I like the cover, you know. So, all right, yeah, just the picture on the cover, and I'd play it and I'd just listen to it, and now I have thousands of CDs at home. I just go. So when I'm at home, when I'm in Britain, I'll buy a CD nearly at least once a week. So I'll just, and I go through the same process. Sometimes I'll just see something, or I'll hear something on the radio, or somebody will say something to me, or I might be reading a novel and they say, oh, she was listening to Bach's do that. Like, oh, what's that? I haven't heard that. So I'll go out and I'll buy it and I'll do it. And so, yeah, and at the moment I'm the last few years I've been very much into jazz, because now when I perform I improvise a lot, and jazz for me is improvisation on your instrument. So I improvise physically, and jazz is improvised musically on the instrument. So I'm interested in that. And also when I was kind of like in the 1970s, something. So I was a teenager. That's when punk started to happen in Britain. and I'd been in school, in kind of like high school, comprehensive school, and I was really bullied a lot, and I was like this, and I was very, very shy. And then I left, and just at the moment I left school and went to college to train to be a nurse, train to be a social worker, that's when the punk thing happened. So it was like really perfect timing, because I used to wear a tie and everything there. And then I was out of school, then the punk thing happened, and so I grabbed it with both hands, like, oh, this is great. So I would go to concerts and to the Clash and Sham 69 and Sex Pistols and do the headbanging thing and the pogoing and the spitting because it was really I just love the energy, because it was this energy of, in a way, of destruction. It was like destroy everything, destroy the hierarchy of society, and just, and there were bands that were made up from people who couldn't play instruments, couldn't read music, but they just wanted to make noise and make sound, and it was this expression of, and I thought, oh yeah, it was just brilliant. It was all kind of, it was this thing that came from the street, a bit like rap music is now, and the dancing that goes with that, break dancing and stuff. It's come from, it sounds really pretentious, but it's come from kind of real people, from folk people. It's like punk music is like folk music. It's from the ground. It's not kind of from some abstract highbrow sort of, oh, we'll work this out and then this will happen and then you sit there and no, it came from an energy. It came from a reaction to to whatever was going on in society. So I like that energy. Yeah, it's kind of destructive, but I think sometimes you have to destroy things to create something else. Rather than just create all the time. It's good sometimes to kill something, to destroy something, and then something else comes from that. So yeah, music is like, it's life. It's just, it's fantastic, amazing. Really, it's the workshops now are for me as a meeting. It's a meeting between this here and the other people. And really the things we do in the workshop, I mean, it's sort of structured, but really again, it's just this meeting, it's just this communication of what is going on here and what is going on there. So it's this conversation, it's like a week-long whatever conversation between this and the other people. What I want you to do is imagine the person who can see, I want you to imagine, pretend, think, that the person who's blindfolded, your partner, you are desperately, madly in love with them. Love, just love them forever. Okay, so the person who's blindfolded is really saying, no, I don't love you, but there are varying degrees of that. So the person who's blindfolded, you can accept. And really, I just try to create, in the workshops, I try to create an atmosphere or an environment where people feel relaxed enough and free enough and open enough to release themselves and to release their voice and their body and to just do what happens, just to allow things to happen. And also, I talk about performing and about expression and about, being loud enough and being able to be heard and being able to be seen and putting passion and energy into movement particularly, but also into voice. So it's quite physically demanding and brain-wise it's quite demanding as well. It's quite a lot of hard work, particularly for the people in the workshop, but also for me. It's I find teaching and doing workshops much harder work than performing or than choreographing or directing, because all the time I'm doing this, and also I'm doing this as well. I'm absorbing so much, so I spend like 8 hours a day looking, and it's really, when you go around an art gallery sometimes and you look, and then after about an hour or so you think, oh, you just want to sit down and have a cup of tea because you've been taking in all this information. And it's the same for me. So every day when I'm teaching a workshop, I'm taking in so much information and looking and observing. So it's quite exhausting. I find it quite exhausting. But I find it really inspiring. Teaching and doing workshops for me is most of the time a lot more inspiring than going to see performances or going, particularly dance performances or some theatre performances. Yeah, in the near future, I've just finished working on just doing some research and development on. I wrote some monologues for radio, 5 monologues, and now I'm working on. I speak the monologues and 3 performers dance or move or improvise. or I set things on them. So I'm working on that. There's a big project, hopefully, coming up that is for 10 gay men. It's called 10 Men, and that will be a kind of, again, entertaining and up and kind of sort of musical thing in a way. They'll sing and dance and be stupid, and there'll be text and stuff. So that's 10 Men, that's 10 gay men, there's that. And I'm also about to tour a solo show called One Dixon Road, which is based on my childhood. It's about why I started dancing and why I started performing in the first place. So I'm about to do that. And on top of that, I'm teaching workshops in a lot of places, and about to go to Salzburg, I think is the next place, to make a piece on a company there. Yeah. So it's it's great. I'm really lucky to do what I do. It's fantastic because I love doing it, and it's great to, and also to go to other places, to go to other countries and meet different people and be involved with different cultures, and it's fantastic. It's great. Yeah.